Hello, projector friends. I wanted to talk today about waiting for the invitation. I feel like, especially in the beginning of your journey, when you learn that you're a projector energy type in human design, and you hear this term waiting for the invitation. And I think it can be a little bit confusing because of the word waiting. And I think it can be confusing because we feel like we kind of stop and we think that someone, whoever this someone is in our imagination, is going to come and find us and ask us to, collaborate with them, ask us to work with them, ask us to be their guide or their mentor or their teacher or whatever that might look like. And so I wanted to just clarify the way that I see waiting for the invitation is really more about being in the liminal space and understanding that when you're in that liminal space, you're not just sitting and waiting passively. You are being your projector self and you are doing the things that you know that you need to do to keep yourself as a very clear and focused and present channel. And this isn't rigidity and it's not passive. It's the softness of the liminal space in between. And so if you are aspiring to be a coach or a mentor, I'm going to go with this example because I mostly work with spiritual entrepreneurs. And you know that you have special skills, you have innate, deep levels of wisdom, and you know that you can help so many people with your service. You know this in your whole being. You know that it's time for you to share. You know that it's time for you to be the guide. And you know that it's time to build that business that has been brewing for some time, or maybe you're already, moving further along in your business, but wherever you are, there you are. And we feel like, especially with our conditioning, we're taught that like, well, if you build it, they will come. So in a sense, this is true. And also you are in a sense, going to be waiting, right? You're going to be, here are my services. This is what I have available. This is the transformation that I have to offer. This is the work that I do. This is the magic that I have to offer, and you're talking about your work and you're talking about how you help people, how you guide people, the services that you offer. And then you're waiting for the invitation. You're waiting for somebody to book. You're waiting for somebody to sign up for your program. You're waiting to be invited as a guest speaker and in a collaboration with somebody. You're waiting to be invited on a podcast, whatever that is, right? And the thing is that we don't want to get kind of stuck in the old way of waiting. The thing with projectors is that when you're in that liminal space in between, that is when you are doing your maintenance essentially. This is when you're, there's this expression that I often come back to is when you can't go fishing, you mend the nets. So it's like for projectors, it's like when you're not doing the work, you're not channeling, you're not guiding, you're not speaking, you're not whatever your work is, and you're not doing that. That's when you practice your nervous system regulation. You focus on your meditation. You play. You go hang out in your garden. You go for a run. You do your exercises. You do the things that you know are going to maintain your alignment. And what happens there is that then when somebody does come and invites you in, or they say, "Oh my gosh, I just watched all of your Instagram reels and viewed all your content," and they're like, "I want to work with you." You're ready. You're not going to be doing this mad scramble of like, okay, now I got to get my energy sorted out and I've got to catch up on all of that like deconditioning that I haven't been doing. And I got to book an appointment with my therapist and I got to clear it all out. I got to clear it all out. And most of you don't operate that way because you know for your well-being, it's better for you to maintain alignment as opposed to going out of alignment and coming back into alignment and playing that whole game of in and out. We know that it's better for us overall in all of our energetic selves, our energetic body, our physical body, our spiritual body, our mental body, to play that middle line, right? To stay in that middle way. Um, and this is no different in the waiting for the invitation. So when you're waiting for the invitation, think of waiting as more of like a restorative time. So this is time when you read your book, put your feet up, study the thing that brings you joy, that really lights you up, sign up for that workout class that you've been like contemplating. Go for the run, do the things that keep you as much of a clear and present channel as you know that you're going to need to be when somebody comes knocking. So when you get that invitation, you're going to say, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I am ready. I'm ready to do the work. I'm ready and I'm available. And I'm going to tune in. I'm going to have my clear vision and I'm going to be ready." And so, if you're at the beginning of your journey of understanding that you're a projector energy type and you're like, what does waiting for the invitation even mean? Pay attention to the space in between your work. So let's say you currently still have a day job and you're working at building your business on the side and or you're working in your business and you're really building it and you're working with clients and you're doing the thing. I want you to just pay attention in how you utilize your time in between those sessions or between those shifts or however your schedule is currently looking. Maybe you're a mother and your kids are going to school, and then there's a little bit of time after school that you're really parenting, and then you have maybe a little bit of space in the evening when your partner gets home or things are shifting. So paying attention to those times in between. When you're on, you're fully present, you're doing your thing. And the spaces in between is when you're waiting for the invitation. And those are the times that you practice your restorative, um, techniques, pull out your toolbox and ask yourself, check in with your higher self, check in with source, communicate and say like, what is it? What do I need right now? What is going to help me to feel the most like myself in this moment? And this is the thing here is depending on where you're at in your journey with understanding that you're a projector energy type, this may shift. Because sometimes what we used to do 5 years ago to decompress, to rejuvenate, to rest, to restore might look different than what we do currently. And so, or what our needs are, right? Because sometimes the best thing for our business is actually like going out and exercising. Or, sometimes the best thing for us mentally is to literally lay down horizontal and read our book for 60 minutes, or whatever the duration is. But it's a really good like practice that will become a habit of asking what you need, right? It's like I feel like my body needs something right now. It's like, okay, does my body need to exert energy? Does my body need to restore and like tend to the reserves? Do I need food? Do I need water? Like, what is it that I actually need in this moment? And if you think about the masses, if you think about the collective, there's a lot of people that are very disconnected from their bodies, for example, and they don't know when they're hungry, they don't know when they're full, they don't know when they need to rest, they don't know when they need to keep going, all the things, right? And again, this is our projector magic is and power is that we have this very deep innate connection to our well-being because it's very important to us. And we know deeply what it feels like to not be well for various reasons. Could easily go on a tangent there. So, bringing it back to waiting for the invitation is really about paying attention to what your needs are in this moment and knowing and trusting that the thing that you do now is going to help you later. And that's not necessarily like why you're doing it. You're doing it to be in alignment with yourself all of the time. You know, we kind of obviously we're human and it's going to continue to be a human experience where it's not always going to be perfect, but it really is a high priority for us to have that maintenance of really like keeping track of how we're feeling and what we need right now. Because if I'm tending to the nets now and I'm mending the nets now, when it's time to go fishing, I'm gonna be ready. I don't want to be caught off guard when it's like, oh my gosh, this invitation of a lifetime just came in and I'm not ready for various reasons, right? Like maybe physically I'm not feeling well. Maybe mentally I've been really struggling. My nervous system is fried and I'm so disconnected from my body. Those invitations might not even really come in if we're not really truly in our alignment because we're not going to be as magnetizing. But maybe somebody met us when we were in a really good zone and they were really magnetized to us. And then the invitation comes 3 months later and we haven't been taking care of ourselves. This is a very dramatic example, but we haven't been taking care of ourselves. And then we're like, oh, but I'm not ready. And they're like, yeah, you're not ready. And then they're like, it's not aligned, right? It's not aligned. And so I feel like there's this mirror back to us of like we want to stay in that state of flow, in that state of alignment, so that we can be ready when the invitations come through. And you know, it's not waiting in a passive way. It's waiting in like we're taking this time to rebalance ourselves, to bring ourselves back to homeostasis so that we can be open, so that we can be ready. And also we'll have the clarity of the discernment that yes, this is an invitation for me, or no, this is not an invitation for me. And again, paying attention to like, you know, what you wanted 3 years ago. Oh my gosh, I would have like that would have been the biggest deal in my life to get that kind of invitation. And then 3 years later, you've done XYZ amount of work and you've been, you know, you've shifted into a different frequency. And that invitation that you would have like lost your mind if you would have got 3 years ago might be the invitation now that you say no to. And so all of those things become clearer and clearer when we spend quality time in waiting for the invitation. And I feel like if we can really practice that, I feel like especially in the beginning when you're really kind of like shifting your perspective on how you see that space in between, and how you utilize that space in between. And then it's going to ebb and flow. And you're going to come back to it, and you're going to come back to it, and you're going to come back to it. And really trusting the process of it. You're building that trust with yourself. You're building that trust with source energy, with creator. You're trusting the process of like, right now, I feel like the best thing that I can do for my overall health, my holistic whole being is this, and really trusting that that is the thing that you need to do. It doesn't mean that, you let everything go. It's where you're shifting your focus and how you're fine-tuning those messages essentially that you're getting. You usually are being told, this is where you need to focus, or you get this message like, oh yeah, that's where I really need to focus. So really paying attention to all those details as you're waiting for the invitation. And so I really appreciate you all for stepping in to learning more about your projector energy type. And if you do need more support, I do have one-to-one sessions available. So please reach out if that's something of interest to you. Otherwise, stay tuned for another video coming soon. All right. Thanks all.